Hello there, I'm Diane at PhotoFluent. Welcome to our weekly live show on Friday this week instead of Thursday. It's been crazy around here, and I'm even just a few minutes early. What can I say? I'm very excited that it's Friday, and for those of you who it's Saturday, I hope you're having a lovely weekend. One of the reasons I'm so excited about our program today is it's one of my favorite subjects. And yes, I know I say that a lot, but today we're talking about editing. Post-processing, editing, all of it's the same thing. And it's near and dear to my heart, and it's become more and more near and dear lately because I've gotten a lot of feedback from my community, from my students, and I felt like it's time to really talk. And not just techniques of how to edit, but why it's so important. I hear people say, I don't need to edit. I don't want to edit. And here's what I say to you. Yes, you do. You want to and you need to. I think a lot of people don't, they say they don't want to, they say they don't need to because they're afraid to. And I get it. Editing can feel intimidating. First of all, it's new technology, it's a software, it's a technique, it's something, it's fear of the unknown. I think people are afraid it will take too much time. And I just think they're afraid of not just the technology, like getting in there, but how do you get your photos from one place to another? It seems complicated. It doesn't have to be. And today we're going to talk about why editing is just as important as your camera. And yeah, it is. Okay, let's jump in. Now, why editing is as important as your camera? Here's a question for you. Have you ever set up just the right shot or caught this moment that you thought, oh, this is it. This is the money shot. This is going to be awesome. And then you get back and look at it on the bigger screen, or you get a chance to look at it later and think, oh, I just missed it. Or it's so close, but it's not right there. We all have. Most, probably all of the photos you see online are edited. Not just online, but anywhere. Every photo you see is pretty much edited. I'm not going to say all, I'll say most. Photojournalists are very careful how they edit because they can't change what you're looking at. They use a lighter hand, but toning, ever since the beginning days of the darkroom, photos have been edited. You take the negative and you might need to brighten it or darken it. Editing photos is part of photography from the beginning. It doesn't have to change your photo. I've gotten feedback from people that say, I want my photos to be natural. I don't want them to be fake or, quote, photoshopped. I'm not saying photoshopped like give the model longer legs or take 10 pounds off of her when she doesn't need to or change the color of their eyes. It's really just helping the photo look like what you thought you were taking a picture of. Remember you saw that scene or that moment and think, oh, this is awesome. Get your photo back and think, that's not what I saw. That's what editing helps with. It hurts me to hear my students beat themselves up because their photos aren't good enough, because they're comparing them to edited photos. And once they get that, it's like this aha moment I've seen over and over and over where they think my photos aren't good enough. Everybody else's photos are better than mine. You know, part of that's our mindset. But part of it is they're comparing straight out of camera photos to someone who's edited them. And it's just not a fair comparison. It's like comparing me straight out of bed to a supermodel. Okay, that's not a good comparison. But all of us have the opportunity to look better if we put on nicer clothes, if we fix our hair instead of just putting it up on a pom-pom on top of my head like I sometimes do. We all have good and better versions of ourselves, and so do your photos. Photography is a process. And I'm going to show you this, but don't get scared. It's kind of a complicated process. You have technical artistry. That means you work with light. It means you work with your camera settings. It means you process your photos. There's creativity, how you see, your perspective, what angle you take, what you focus on. And it's your confidence. Do you believe you're able to create all this stuff? So all of this boils down to creating photos you love. And part of that is processing your images. It's just one thing in the long process. Now, I'm not saying this to overwhelm you or scare you. It doesn't have to be so complicated that you memorize or learn each piece of this and each part of that and have to put it together. It flows in a very natural way, or it can. It can flow in a very natural way. That's what we're here to talk about. Why is it important to talk about it? Because it's so worth it. That photo that you almost got but didn't, you probably did get it if it's this close. Now, you can't take a really bad photo and make it great, but you can take an almost photo and make it great. And it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be the supermodel gets longer legs, or we're going to take off 20 pounds. Although, I wish I could do that in real life. Photos, they're going to see me eventually, right? It can be very subtle, but just enhance the scene that you saw. Because when you take the photo, even if you're an expert in camera settings, and let's face it, there aren't many of those out there. Most of us get the camera settings wrong sometimes, or a lot of the times. I get excited, even though I know camera settings really well at this point. I get excited about being somewhere, or I set my camera to something and forget to change it. My images come back with camera settings that aren't great. Sometimes the lighting, most of the time when we're traveling, the lighting's kind of crazy and we're at the mercy of it. There are a lot of things you can do about the lighting, with the lighting, positioning yourself, but there's only so many things you can do before you just have to take the photo if you want it. So this is a before and after that shows the bright light, kind of the darker shadows. It's contrasty. And now after, it's warmer, it's brighter, it has more pop. I love before and afters. I think we all do. I mean, from the time I was a teenager, you look in the, what was it, teen magazines, and they always have the before and after makeovers. And I always wanted a makeover, that transformation. This is transforming your photos. It's making them the best they can be. It's not making them a different photo. It's just enhancing what they already have. The photo on the left, again, very contrasty, and this is very typical when we travel. Super bright, and then the dark shadows. In the right, the shadows have come to life. The highlights have kind of been tampered down a little bit, and it becomes a more even scene. So it can be subtle, can be really not so subtle. This is the Musée d'Orsay, looking through the clock tower at Montmartre. And again, super bright outside and dark inside. That contrast you're going to see over and over and over when you travel. Now, if I said if I don't edit, I just don't believe in it, I don't want to do it, that's what I would have ended up with on the left. And if I would have tried to get more detail in the shadows, then you would have seen no detail. You wouldn't have even seen an outline of Montmartre through that window, because there's only so much your camera can do with that sort of lighting. But because I edited a lot this one, because I really just wanted to see what it could look like. It's an art form in itself. So you can do just basic edits like this one, just some edits to help the details come out. Or you can do more, and there's a whole lot more you can do with editing depending on how much you want to do. I've seen artists that do some beautiful, surreal editing that it becomes a whole different scene, or they combine scenes. I would like to learn how to do that. It looks fun and interesting, but that's not the way I edit my photos. I want mine to look more natural. I have a very documentary style approach. I want to document my experience, create memories of what I saw. So that is how I edit. And because I've gotten so much feedback lately about editing, and people who have not tried because they're scared or intimidated, have tried and get really frustrated because it's technical and that might not be your specialty. I've gotten feedback from students who say, I want to throw my camera out the window. I know, I've been there. Or I've gotten feedback from people who say, I tried editing and I couldn't figure it out. Because I want to make editing more fun, less intimidating, I decided to try something new. I've been thinking about it for months and thought, you know what, let's just do it. I was going to say the end of summer. Officially, I guess it is the end of summer, or spring if you're down under. I'm going to do a live photo editing workshop because I think the best way to learn is not just see somebody demo editing, but to do it with them and use your photos. So let's talk through what this is going to look like. Next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, the 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific, I didn't put Pacific, but it's Pacific, we're going live on Zoom, and I'm going to do a training plus demonstration of editing, and that's the first half. The second half, I'm going to edit your photos. Because my photos, I can edit, and you can watch and think that's nice. But doing it with your photos, that's the key, I think. So for the first half, you're going to learn a few adjustments that will benefit most of your photos, if not all of them, that are easy to do and easy to understand. They're not the complicated high-level stuff. It's the basics. I'm going to talk about some common mistakes to avoid so that you don't waste time, because I know time is a factor for everyone. You might get addicted to editing and want to do it all the time, but you might rather take the photos than edit them. So I want to teach you how to do it quick and easy so that you can get the basics, grow from there if you want to, but you don't have to. I also am going to show you some tips for figuring out exactly what your photos need. This is also some feedback I got. People say, I look at my photo, I have no idea what it needs. Where do I even start? I'm going to walk you through that. Let's look at your photo and figure out what's wrong with it. What could make it better? And how to make your photos look natural, but have that pop, that wow factor that you remember seeing when you took the photo. Now, that's the first half. In the second half, I'm going to edit your photos. How many? We don't know yet because we aren't sure how many will sign up. This is the first time. We're just giving it a try. So I'm going to have everybody submit a few photos and we'll see how many I can get to it. It'll be an hour worth of me editing your photos. I'll help you problem solve what adjustments your photos need so they can be fabulous. You'll have the chance to ask questions and ask me to demonstrate certain techniques. So while I'm editing your photo or someone else's, you can say, hey, how do you do that? I've seen this before. I want it warmer. I want it brighter. And we'll take a look at your photos and I'll help you figure out what's not working, what is working, what you like, what you don't like, and what you envision it being, and how do we get it there? All right, and there's of course a little bonus. I like everything packaged neat and tidy. So all the resources I'm going to mention in the training and the basic edits are all put together in a pretty little guide so that you can download it later. So rather than having to You can absolutely go back and watch it again and again, but I also like to have it in a PDF because written is handy and you can print it off or keep it in a file somewhere and think, what was that? Where was that link? All right there. This is your chance to give editing a try, refresh your skills, or get unstuck if you've tried it and you're one of those that want to throw your computer through the window. Don't do that. So here's how you enroll for the class. It's bephotofluent.com/let's edit. Now, it's live, and if you think, well, I'm not around or the time doesn't work, you can still submit photos. Even if you don't come, when you submit them, you can tell me this is what I want to learn, or just edit my photos so I can see how you do it, and you'll get access to the recording. And of course, even if you do join live, you'll also get access to the recording, because the way I've learned editing is to go back and watch it again and again and pause it, do my own editing, watch it again, pause it. So you'll have access to that. So you can do that. Go back and watch it as many times as it takes to make sense of it all. Since this is a new format I'm trying out, the introductory price is only $47. So we're going to do 2 hours live interactive workshop for $47. And you enroll at bephotofluent.com/let's edit. My idea for this is, because I've gotten so much feedback, people want more editing, they want editing, that I'll do a monthly workshop each month, maybe with a different theme or a different lesson. I'll get feedback from you, from my community, and we'll talk through what you want to learn. So we'll see. This is kind of the trial. We'll see how you like it, how it goes, if the format works. And then from there, if you like it, we'll keep doing it. That's how important I think editing is. Don't give up on your photos. They have so much potential. I also think a lot of people are ignoring or getting rid of photos that are really good because they don't know how good they could be because they're not edited. All right. One more. I love before and after. This time I reversed it. This is the after. This is Montmartre. The people, the hill, the stairway, the cathedral. And this is it before. Right? You might have looked at this and thought, it's boring. Cloudy day. Just boring. And yet, a few adjustments. It's not boring. You can see more details. It has the pop that you are so desiring that you just can't get with your camera alone. All right. If you'd like to watch the replay of this and more of my videos, check out my YouTube channel, bephotofluent.com/YouTube, and do not forget to subscribe. If you're interested in joining our private Facebook group, which is full of fun, creative travelers, join us at PhotoFluent Travelers. And save your spot now. Photo storytelling retreat in Tuscany. It's next fall, so a year from now in Tuscany. But when there's 8 to 10 spots to fill, and as soon as they're full, you don't get your chance. So if you're thinking, I'll wait and see if that sounds fun next year, it might be too late. And if you are ready to give editing a try, or if you need a little refresher, or if you just want to see how I edit your photos, next week I'm doing my first photo editing workshop live. Go to bephotofluent.com/let's edit to save your seat and to get your photos to me. Well, have a great weekend. I can say that now because whether it's Friday or Saturday where you are, it's pretty much getting into the weekend. So have a fabulous weekend. I hope you get your cameras out. And if you do, please share the photos in our Facebook group. And we're doing a monthly challenge. It's a good one this month. Come on over and share your photos and join our challenge. Bye. I'll see you soon.